So this is a place I think everybody's been before, knee deep in a budget build, and it's time to decide how bad is good enough. So this is our 350 we're building for our 1977 K10. This came out of a 1989 Caprice cop car, and we've been throwing as little money as possible at it to get a little extra power out of it so that we can throw it into our project truck. But now is kind of the deciding point when we figure out just how far we want to go with this. And if you were to talk to 10 different people, you're probably going to get 10 different answers on what you should do. So today, we're going to go over what I've done so far, both on camera and off. And I'm going to tell you why I think making the wrong decision on this motor is the right way to go. This is More Than Metal. Anybody who knows what they're talking about, any machinist, any engine builder, who sees a ring ridge in your cylinder walls like this is going to tell you this thing's out of spec. Now, I'm not going to claim that I know better than any of those experts out there, because I absolutely and clearly do not. What I am going to say is I'm from a place where you get the machine going to get the job done. And I've seen a lot of motors like this, and it doesn't matter. Small block Chevys, Fords, big blocks, you know, something out of the old International. Get a re-ring and a reseal and last a pretty good life after that. I'm going to be honest with you guys. I have been absolutely stuck with this motor on which direction I want to go with it. Like I said, you can talk to 10 different people and get 10 different answers of the right way to do a motor like this. And it just kind of had me second guessing everything I wanted to do with it, what I set out to accomplish with this motor. So I think I've actually had a moment of clarity over the last few days, and I'm going to explain why. We're going to take the path that we chose and why I think it's the right decision. So you're going to have basically every expert across the board tell you that if you're taking an old engine apart, the chances are almost certain that it should get machine work. If you want to properly rebuild this motor, it needs surfaces remachined and taken back to factory tolerances. And they're not wrong. That's definitely true. If you're looking at a true rebuild, if you've taken this motor somewhere and you're spending the money to get somebody to build it for you, it's not wise to cheap out on your machine work. You might as well get it done, because in that situation, it's a pretty small part of what your total payment is on building a motor. With that said, there is millions of these motors running around, still running well, that have had a rebuild done what we were planning on doing. Now, I just said rebuild. I don't actually consider what we're doing a rebuild. This is an overhaul. This is a refresh. Calling it a rebuild is not very honest. I would never try and sell this motor to someone saying it was rebuilt. Now, the 83 C10 that you bought off Craigslist or Marketplace, that they said their grandpa rebuilt it back in 1989, this is probably what he did. But nevertheless, this can get you a lot of miles, get you a good running motor. The question is, when is it time to do this? And when is it time to actually rebuild a motor properly. And this is what I've been stuck on for honestly a few weeks now. It's kind of why my progress has come to a bit of a halt on this thing, because when I first started out with this project, this was just a motor I was throwing in the truck while I was building the original motor. I wanted to take that motor, I wanted to get all the machine work done to that thing. If we were going to stroke it out to a 383, if we were going to do anything fancy, it was going to be that motor. So when I started questioning it is when we took this thing apart and found out it's a roller cam. That roller cam is a huge plus in today's world, because none of today's conventional oils are meant for flat tappets. They're all meant to have these roller cams, and the new oils can just eat up flat tappets. And if you don't know what I'm talking about, let me grab some parts out and I'll show you what I mean by a roller cam in case you don't know. So I'm sure most everybody watching this is aware, but for those of you who are watching that don't know the difference between a roller cam or a flat tappet, like my mom, hi mom, this is the difference. So here's our camshaft right here. This is the old cam out of the motor we're doing, and this is one of the old lifters. So a roller cam, you can see, has this wheel on the bottom. It's got little needle bearing in there, and what it does is ride on our lobes to open up our valves. The difference with a flat tappet, as you can see, this is just a machine surface with a slight taper, and when it's coming up over our lobes, this is actually spinning like this. So now, this worked great for many, many years. But obviously this is a better design, and since these have kind of taken over from the flat tappet, two things have happened. The oil we get these days aren't designed for this. These need a certain zinc content to protect them, and what is suspect to be happening is machining quality has gone down on these. So to get a good set of lifters and a good cam is a lot harder these days. So having a factory roller block is a definite plus, and is definitely nice to have in a vehicle that we're planning on driving a lot. So this is where our confusion arises. Our just for now motor is arguably a better platform to build our motor on. So do we now take the time, steal a couple extra shekels out of Kaylin's purse, and get this thing to the machine shop so that we do have a nicely rebuilt motor? Or do we push on with our plan that we just want to get this thing running, get it in the truck while we have our other one sitting on the floor? And here's two reasons why Here's two reasons why I naturally stray away from machine work. The first is obviously money. It costs money. Around here, you know, to get a block fully machined, depending on what you're doing, you're in the neighborhood of $1,200 to $2,000. So that's not a small amount of money. I mean, this whole motor right now, including all of our speed parts we bought, we're into it for about $800. So that's more than twice of what we've already spent on this motor. The second problem is time. I live in a pretty rural area, which means there's not a ton of machine shops. We have some really good machinists around here. We have some really good shops, but the fact that there's only so many of them means there's also a waiting list to get stuff done. Take, for example, my Fox body. I was building a motor for that, was going 40 over, building a 410 stroker. That block sat on the machinist's floor for 2 years before I finally went and picked it up. And by the time I got the motor back, I had somewhat lost interest in that project, and that's why it's the way you see it now. And we've kind of moved on to bigger and better things. Chevys. I'm just kidding, you guys. I like the Fords, okay? But hold on a second. What are we actually losing by putting together a motor the cheap way? Well, the big thing is longevity. I mean, if you put new parts in a motor that's already got 150 miles worth of wear, well, you're obviously not going to get the same type of life as you would with one that's going into a freshly machined block. But in our situation, the only thing that's going to cost us is time. And as every single one of my bosses have told me, my time is worthless. So here's where I'm at with this. Everybody wants to know how good a re-ring is, how long you can run on that motor. You know, when is it time to do it right? Well, to me, this seems like a perfect little experiment. That's right, we have a More Than Metal experimental division. It does share shop space with the motor department and, you know, the bike shop, and also the auto body shop, the fabrication shop, and also the garden center. But, well, and the guy that runs it isn't very smart. But we do have it nonetheless. So, this is the first More Than Metal experimental motor. Because honestly, the worst that could happen is we got to do it again. We'll be out $30 for rings. So, we forge ahead. We continue on with the original plan. We see just how good a re-ringed 350 can be. So let me show you where we're at and what we're doing going forward. So if you haven't been here yet, this is our 350. We have done surface cleaning. We have rough honed our cylinders just to make sure they were good enough. And we're calling them good enough. We still have to take a little bit of this ring ridge out because we don't want to put our new rings in there and end up breaking one on that ridge. So there's a little bit more work to do before we do our final hone. Stock crank going back in, that's already been polished. We have a Summit 8800 cam going in this. So that is not a super gnarly cam or anything like that. It's just going to be a nice little bump over stock. And honestly, that's all we're after. We're after a nice little 300 horse 350. The way we're getting to that 350 horse, sorry, not 350 horse. We're not getting there. But the way we're getting to that 300 horse is our junkyard Vortec heads. So I picked these up out of the junkyard for $80. Did a quick home crack test on them. We've rebuilt them. Valves have been relapped. New valve stem seals. Stock springs back in it. Reassembled. Nice rattle can spray paint on there. They are ready to go. So I've already knocked the cam bearings out of this. We're going to end up having to replace those. And yeah, I think that's kind of where we're at right at this moment. So guys, now that we have broken through our mid-build slump and we have decided to do the wrong thing the right way, what's next for us? Well, that's kind of all I wanted to get through on this video. I just kind of wanted an update. Honestly, it's the holiday season. Everybody's busy, and it's been tough getting here to get work done. Come the new year, we got big plans. It's going to be a new direction for the channel, so I'm really excited for that. So if you're not subscribed, make sure you're subscribed. Make sure you're following along so you know at home if this was a bad idea or not, because you know, we're getting scientific on this. But I think other than that, You know, if you haven't been here, we got the Triumph build still happening. We still got the 67 Chevelle that needs help. Mom's Cougar in the back that we're going to be getting to right away. But to be honest, I'm not sure how much we're going to get to this year still. You know me, it's all about family. So this time of year, the kids, the wife, they come first, and the stuff in here just comes in a distant fourth. So this may be the last video this year, and if it is, Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays to all you guys and gals. Thank you so much for coming along these last 6 or 7 months, whatever we've been doing. And yeah, like, subscribe, comment. Let's get to it in the new year. Till next time.